going, oh, I really want to go there, that's cool. Finally got to get to E3 in 2006, thanks to a bit of luck and hard work. And I couldn't believe it when I first met Ed Boon. I was just filming all the Mortal Kombat Armageddon stuff, and Ed Boon just walked out and just stood there, and I'm like, oh my god, it's him. It's this guy. Up until now, you know, I've seen photos and I've seen his name scroll up the screen when I beat the game, but you know, he was suddenly right in front of me, and I'm like, oh my god, it's him. You know, and I'm like, walked up, said hello, and I'm like, oh, I'm a big fan. Well, he probably got really scared when I said that, you know. I didn't hug him or anything, but you know. I said, I'm a big fan, I love Mortal Kombat. He's probably used to it. No, I don't know one of these people. Oh, he's got long hair too, great. But it was cool. I did a little interview with Ed on the floor there, which is on my website. You guys have probably seen it, where I asked him sort of what's your favourite character, what's your favourite level, asked him a few other questions, like in real life, like what's his favourite music, asked him not just Mortal Kombat stuff, you know. And yeah, I got to do that. Then I did my interview. I was supposed to, if you've seen my video interview with John Podlasek and Paulo Garcia and Brian Leberon, I was supposed to have Ed Boon in that interview as well, but he got called away and did some high-level media interview, so I didn't get Ed on video, but yeah, I got to, which was a bit disappointing, but after Ed Boon actually came in, and so I just missed out, you know, and that's when I got my, I got these signed. When I knew I was going to E3, I thought, what could I get signed by Ed Boon? I mean, I've got so much Mortal Kombat stuff. Should it be the Mega Drive version of Mortal Kombat 1, the first one that I ever got into? And I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I could get like my arcade machine signed by Ed Boon, that'd be sweet. But obviously I can't take that to LA, can I? So I decided I'd take my arcade manuals of Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. And they're actually the dedicated manuals, even though I don't have a dedicated machine. I was able to get them when I bought the game board. So, I mean, here you've got the Mortal Kombat 1 manual. I'm just going to come in close so you can see. And that stupid light, yeah, you can see it there. Let me really open this. It's causing a reflection. Ah! There we go. Ed Boon. There we go. Ed Boon. Yeah, he signed my MK1 manual, which is really cool. The mother of all fighting, the mother of all street fighting games. So you Street Fighter fans out there can kiss my ass, because this is a real game, mate. Yeah. It's my MK1 signed, and the MK2 one signed down there. So that was like really cool. I mean, it would have been even cooler if John Tobias was still with the company and I got to meet him too and shake his hand, but oh well, them's the breaks. Maybe one day I'll meet him, you know, you never know. I always wonder what John Tobias is up to after he had Studio Giganta, or whatever, that closed down, which is unfortunate. But I never got to play that Teo thing, just at a Lotus. But hopefully one day I'll run into him and say, thanks for being part of the Mortal Kombat stuff. Because, I mean, you guys were a great team. It'd be awesome if John Tobias went back to Midway. I mean, a lot of people say there was a fight or something. I don't know the real story. I don't think there was a fight, but I guess I'll never know. But if by some weirdo chance that John Tobias went back to Midway and back onto the Mortal Kombat team, that would be awesome. I mean, because he had so many great ideas. The Sub-Zero Chinese Ninja idea, and the Lin Kuei, and I mean, you saw the artwork he's done. I mean, he did all the concept art for Mortal Kombat 1, 2 and 3, and Ultimate, and maybe MK4. Yeah. So, yeah, talk more about Deadly Alliance and stuff, but those games were great. But I just wanted to have a bit of sort of background history on the old, how I got into this crazy this crazy franchise. I'm hoping one day to go even more in depth. I mean, I know this has been pretty long, but I've got so much to say about Mortal Kombat. So much to say. I've got stories that I haven't even mentioned. Yeah, but it's funny, you know, you just start off liking a game and then being like, you know, one day I'd like to own that arcade machine, and then actually owning the arcade machine, which is pretty good, because, you know, I've never had the best jobs in life, you know, because I wasn't that great at my schooling, but that was my first goal that I completed, and then after that being like, I'd love to go to E3 one day, and then when I got to E3 in 06, man, I couldn't believe it. That was crazy. And you know, now I really don't know what I want to do. I'd like to work for Midway one day, but that'll probably never happen. They're in America and I'm in Australia. But I mean, if they ever wanted a fan like me, I'd probably consider moving out there. That's how much I love the game. Yeah. About now I'm going to talk about conversation I had earlier about this Mortal Kombat versus DC. Back on this subject, I was talking to Scott Bishop from Mortal Kombat Online earlier, and he was talking about, you know, the fact that the blood isn't going to be as full on, not making a difference. And I'm like, nah, man, no. You know, like, Mortal Kombat 1 had the hardcore blood, Mortal Kombat 2 had the hardcore blood, 3, Ultimate, 4, Mythologies, all the home versions, Trilogy, they all had this hardcore blood system, even though it was sort of like dark comedy, you know. Like every time I do a fatality in an arcade, everyone would laugh. No one ever would go, oh, that's sick, you know. I mean, I suppose maybe the first Mortal Kombat was pretty full on and dark, but, you know, got a bit sort of dark comedy-ish. When they announced that this new one isn't going to have the blood, excuse me, yeah, I think that's the biggest mistake with the new Mortal Kombat game. At first I was pissed that it was versus DC, and then I got over that and I thought, oh, it might be pretty cool. But then when they said, you know, no blood, I mean, I'd love to rip Batman's head off. I mean, I know I've already said this in my other video, but I mean, isn't that what DC fans would like, to see something different, something, you know, instead of them just being superheroes and being invincible? Wouldn't it be cool to have them sort of like mortals, susceptible to fatality? I think it would be. And yeah, Scott was saying that he didn't think it would matter. I mean, he said there'd still be finishes, and I know there's going to be finishes as well. But you know, when they say finishes, what I'm scared of is this. Yeah, Killer Instinct. It was a great game and all, and it suited that game. When you'd get to the end and do a fatality, the fatalities weren't that great. They all sort of looked the same, but no one really did them. Everyone did the ultra combos, and that's what I reckon the MK versus DC universe thing is going to be. It's going to be an ultra combo. You're going to come in and be like, you know, you're going to do all those hits and then knock them up in the air and then they're going to fall on the ground. Now that's a finisher. But is it a good finisher? No. No. Not after what we've seen on Mortal Kombat. We've seen Kano rip out the fucking heart. We've seen Sub-Zero rip off the head. We've seen Scorpion rip his face off and burn the guy alive. We've seen so many things. We've seen Jax turn his arms into metal chopping things, and we've seen Sector compact someone. We've seen Sindel scream all the flesh off someone's bones. We've seen Shang Tsung morph into Kintaro and whack the guy in half. And now what we're going to see is finisher. Sub-Zero wins. Finishing bonus. Finishing bonus. Does that sound familiar? It should. MK1 SNES. There was no such thing as a fatality on SNES. When you did what we think are fatalities, on SNES it would credit them as a finishing bonus.